Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to our February 12th meeting of the Griffin City Commission. And if you will stand, we will have our invocation by Commissioner Holberg and our place to the flag by Commissioner Ward.
Let's bow our heads, please. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in our performances, our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please take the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's nice that we have a good audience tonight, and we'd like to welcome Helen Grayson as the representative from Sun City. So, Helen, you can just wave so they'll see where you are. She said she didn't have any business, so she was sitting back there tonight. So, if we have any other visitors, we'd like to recognize you if you're not a regular. Okay, well, we're glad to have everyone here. Our first order of business tonight is to recognize Toussaint Kirk of Planning and Development Services as the January 2013 Strongest Link. Director of Planning and Development Services, Taurus Freeman, will address. Good evening.
Good evening. As I stand before you all tonight, I'm here to recognize Toussaint Kirk for his tremendous knowledge, passion, and ability to go above and beyond his call of duty in our Planning and Development Services job. When I started here 10 months ago, I was faced with some tremendous obstacles, or as I call, opportunities. With Toussaint Kirk, I was able to be in a lot of different places at a lot of different times. He has been my right-hand man, and he has given me the relaxation that I need sometimes in knowing that I can trust him to do the job and perform at a very high level. He has saved the city tremendous amounts of money regarding all our housing, as he runs several of our housing programs for the city. He's one of the catalysts for our substandard housing program, which we try to rid our city of those type of structures. He has done everything I've asked and done a lot of things I haven't asked, which is a blessing in disguise, and it has made my tenure here a lot easier. And for that, I would like to recognize Toussaint Kirk.
Just real quick, just want to say thank you, and it's always good to be recognized for the work that you do. You always work I work in the back in the back there, and you know, like I've told Kenny, I've told Taurus, I let my work speak for who I am, and so it's nice to be recognized for the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Put it on.
That's right. Thank you. There are some of you out there that may not know the basis for this award. It's given monthly to a deserving employee who has demonstrated excellent performance and productivity, loyalty and professional pride, and other noteworthy accomplishments. The award recognizes that all city employees link together to form a chain that provides for the residents of the city of Griffin with excellent service. The service is only as strong as its weakest link in the chain. Therefore, all employees should strive to be a strong link. And this is our way of recognizing the strong links. And so I thought that perhaps you all would like to know the purpose and the reason behind that big chain that he's got to carry around for a month. Our next order of business is to recognize Griffin Fire Captain Eddie Ellis and Captain Mark Gilreath for 30 years of service, and Griffin Police Sergeant David Bowen for 25 years of service to the city. Chief Strickland will address, as well as Chief Jones.
Good evening, Commissioners. It gives me great pleasure to introduce and recognize for 30 years of service two great friends, two fine gentlemen, and two wonderful employees. Has Captain Gilreath made it yet? I don't see Captain Gilreath, but Captain Ellis is here, and I'll ask him to come on up now. Eddie Ellis has been in our department, of course, for 30 years, and just was recently promoted to captain, and is an outstanding officer, very, very good friend, very fair-minded man, always willing and able to take the younger guys underneath his wing and give 100% every day with a fantastic attitude. When we just recently invested into that beautiful new ladder truck that we just got, Eddie was assigned to that truck down there and is doing an outstanding job transitioning Ladder 3 into our fleet. So it gives me great pleasure to recognize Captain Eddie Ellis for 30 years of dedicated service.
I would just like to thank the city for allowing me the opportunity to do the job that I love. I love being a firefighter, and I love serving this community, and I would just like to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Chief.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is with great pleasure that I bring you David Boyne, who's given us 25 years of great service in the police department, and I'm going to tell you a little story, and David's probably going to get a little embarrassed, but it's okay. I met David Boyne, I guess, around 1987. Six? Okay. Anyway, he's going to mess with me because I'm fixing to mess with him. Anyway, David was a very, very young man back then. Very young man. He was beginning and wanted to be a police officer, and I was the police chief in the city of Fort Valley, Georgia. And David came to apply for a job. I probably rode him around for about an hour and a half trying to talk him out of being a police officer, and it didn't take. And he went to work with the city of Fort Valley. So David has 25 years here, but altogether he's closer to me. He's probably got about 32 or 33 in law enforcement, and I got him started in Fort Valley, and then he left and came to work for the city of Griffin, and I followed him up here, according to him. So it's with great pleasure that I recognize David Boyne for his 25 years of service with the city of Griffin Police Department.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. The chief has a little bit of selective memory, but it's pretty. The story's pretty close. But anyway, thank you. I've enjoyed my 25 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we get you a picture.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have a representative from our tree board in the audience?
Dr. Walker.
Good. Would you come forward, please? We have a proclamation for you.
Make a motion to approve the proclamation.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve proclamation. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you.
How you doing?
Commissioner Holberg will present the proclamation.
Oh. All right, a proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. Whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is more observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, reduce heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, provide habitat for wildlife, and reduce stormwater runoff. And whereas trees are renewable resources, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. Trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community and wherever they are planted. are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas the City of Griffin has appointed a tree board to facilitate and oversee the planting of trees in our city, and whereas the city has pruned and mulched trees throughout the city's right-of-ways, and whereas the City of Griffin has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now therefore it be resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the City of Griffin do hereby proclaim Friday, February 15, 2013 as Arbor Day in the City of Griffin, and urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to support our city's urban forestry programs and to plant trees to promote the well-being to present present and future generations. This 12th day of February 2013. Signed, Joanne Todd, Chairman, Kenny Smith, City Manager. Thank you, sir.
Ryan, would you like, as our representative from Commission, would you like to join them for the picture, please?
I think they have it covered.
Oh. You don't want, put your arm down there, Ryan.
He loves trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. All right, at this time, we will review financials for December 2012. Marcus Schwab will address it.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners.
Good evening.
First up will be the cash balance report. And yes, it's digital today, so we're going to go out here without a net. All right, so any questions on the cash balance report?
Don't think so, so you want to go on to the next one?
Next item is the lost local option sales tax report. Collections are starting to tick up again, and we have collections for December for the SPLOST. And those, I think, based on what I've seen now, that money will be continuing to come in. Next item on the list, we're going to switch gears a little bit. There is a document that's in your packet that has a blue border on the top, and that is basically a summary of the investment portfolio as it stands as of December 31st with Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Let me also clarify that this page that you're looking at represents only the municipal securities, the bonds that we have invested. It does not include the equity section, which is in the Cemetery Trust Fund. So the Cemetery Trust Fund has a slightly different investment practice or policy because of the type of fund that it's associated with.
I'm a little confused here.
Yes, sir.
As my fellow commissioners tell you, I often am. This is our Cemetery Trust Fund fixed income portfolio. Is that what you said?
Negative, sir. This is the citywide
okay, that's what I thought it
investment portfolio, and it includes all funds.
Okay,
minus the cemetery, because this is representative only of the bonds that we have invested.
Okay, but what I don't understand, the City of Griffin is not a tax-paying entity. We're a tax-exempt entity.
Correct.
Why do we have tax-free bonds and not regular bonds and have a lower interest rate? There's no advantage to the city having a tax-free bond in it.
The strategy, right? Yes, sir. The strategy that's employed is anything that's B rated or higher, that's investment grade or higher. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that it can be taxable or tax-free, tax-exempt or tax-free. It's the strategy that's associated with that particular investment. If a city, for example, we have both taxable and non-taxable bonds that we have issued because of the type of infrastructure or program that the money was used for. For example, the building has a tax-exempt portion and it has a taxable portion. The investors then go out and buy these bonds based on the earnings potential or the dividend or the interest or the cash flow that's generated from that investment. And that's why we have in our portfolio a broad spectrum of investment vehicles in the bond side to cover or access the best cash flow that we can generate from those investment strategies.
Well, I still say it's quite unusual for a tax-exempt organization to have tax-free bonds, and usually there's better yields elsewhere. So All right.
Again, it is also going to be tied to the risk category of that particular bond, the rating that's assigned to the bond, because obviously the lower the rating, the higher the reward. However, as a municipality, we are required to invest in investment grade or better, and that's what we have done.
Can you point out, right now, this total fund's right at 10.5 million, is that correct?
Again, that represents only the municipal bonds that the portfolio has in its management. It does not include other equities that are stocks and bonds that are associated with the cemetery trust fund. So this is a select snapshot or a select image of the investment vehicles that we have.
So if you go back to the cash balance report,
yes.
Can you tell us which cash balance funds represent this?
It will not tie back.
Okay,
because it is only reflective of the municipal bonds that we have purchased. The investment portfolio includes cash, it includes CDs, it includes CDs that are tied back to equity markets, and my goal to present this information to you was to shed light on some of the composition of the investments that the city has. Now, if we would like, I can have Mr. Andy Harbour come back and we can go through a more comprehensive review of the city's entire portfolio, which might not be a bad idea. Might be a good idea.
I see a spreadsheet that shows which funds go with which.
I understand, sir. And we do. I have a book upstairs of all funds and all the investments.
I don't need a book. I just need a spreadsheet.
Yes, sir.
That shows.
We can do that.
Are you threatening us with a comprehensive look at this?
I'm not. It's your wish.
You brought it up, so
yes, sir, I did.
Scratch my head.
I was just trying to understand why this one piece of information. I didn't understand. You're just giving us one piece in the bigger picture, not.
It's a seed.
Okay.
All right.
A seed to start thought process. That's all it was, and it did that. So now that I hear a request for
a spreadsheet that shows where this correlates in terms of numbers here, how does it spread out into the other funds?
Talking to Ryan.
Yes. I hear some confusion.
And it's okay, because I'm going to be confused regardless.
I would just, if Ryan's happy.
Well, hey, thanks. About everything, or?
No. You usually have a few statements or good suggestions.
I think their points are good as far as getting a breakdown of how this actually would tie back to the balance sheet.
Thanks, Mr. Ryan.
And Dick's got a good point, too, as far as, there's investment grade things out there that would qualify, that would have a higher yield, than the fact that we don't have to pay taxes on might do it.
Well, we don't pay tax on this stuff.
We know.
Right.
That's why typically corporate and bonds, and then next federal bonds pay higher interest rates than tax-free municipals. It's just as unusual to see tax-free, tax-advantaged bonds in a tax-exempt organization.
Okay, let me see if I can answer this question.
You don't need to.
Two pages over. Actually, if we were to flip over to one more page.
He likes to do this, Dick.
Okay.
So,
you'll have one page there that shows how some of these investments are maturing over time. So we have a pretty consistent cash flow.
The term is laddered. They're laddered, I understand.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. For those who did not. Okay.
He's warming us up because he's got personal management merit badge with a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds. He figured if he would explain it to us, he's good to go tonight with 12 and 13-year-olds.
Okay, sir.
He wishes.
All right, moving on to page 11. And this document, I think, will address Mr. Morrow's question as to why we do not invest in corporate paper that will yield a higher cash flow or a higher dividend or a higher interest earning. Because there is a taxing source tied to the investments that we have. In other words, if a corporation goes out of business, what provision is there to collect on that investment if that investment goes worthless? On the municipal side, we have a taxing authority that is backing the investment. So in other words, they can raise or levy taxes. They can raise or levy fees. They can support and sustain and more or less guarantee the future dividends and cash flows coming from these investments. And that's why we have a significant portion of our investment tied to ad valorem property tax, those taxing authorities that yield and control those revenues.
Well, I have to say, I'm looking at California and New York and Illinois, which are highly stressed states in here, so maybe we better quit while we're ahead here.
Yes. And the standing order at this point has been, for the last 9 months or so with Morgan Stanley, to slowly ease out of the Illinois and the California market. So we have removed several of those investments already, and they are in the process of being liquidated. The problem is that there's not always a market available the day you want to get rid of something, because everybody else is trying to get rid of it, and there's no buyers. So we have liquidated some of the Illinois positions as well as the California positions. And if you look at that last page number 80, you'll see that the highest investment that we have is within our own state of Georgia. So that's where we've placed a significant amount of our monies. So we're reinvesting in Georgia.
Very good.
Madam Chair, I apologize for opening this can.
Right, I promised my husband it wasn't a long agenda tonight.
I thought you were going to skip it when you went to the other.
Okay, anything else, Marcus?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I have two items left, the revenue and expense by fund. If any questions? And if none...
Did you receive a significant property tax check?
Yes, for $1,272,000 is what we received in the month of January, and that's actually short by about another $2.5 million or so that I expected to receive in January. So I anticipate that to come in February. And the last item on the list, and then I will leave you all alone, is the revenue status report for the general fund as of December 31st. I know this is a popular item.
Yeah.
And do you have any questions on it? Comments?
Do you have any indication from the tax assessor about what we might gather as far as ad valorem taxes?
No.
With the appeal, I guess appeals are still ongoing?
Appeals are ongoing. Mr. Smith and I have gone down to Macon. We traveled down there with Mr. Wilson and the Spalding County folks, as well as the tax assessor's office, and the folks there from the Department of Revenue all say the same thing. They don't really have a good idea as to what the impact will be. Granted, everything's shifting out from underneath the private sales and being ushered in towards the dealerships to conduct the transactions because they're better equipped with the reporting. So the actual impact has yet to be determined.
Right, and I heard on TV before I came in tonight that legislators say don't think that the birthday tax is a safe deal because they're still discussing it.
Yes.
And it's due to be implemented in a couple of weeks. So who knows? Any other questions for Marcus? Thank you, Marcus.
I like
Thank
your
you.
little physician quote at the bottom.
I'm sorry?
I like your little physician quote at the bottom.
Position quote.
Yeah, the one that says that I observed the
Physician with the same diligence as the deceased.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Read it out loud because they wonder what we're talking about.
I observed the physician with the same diligence as the disease. John Doe.
Yes. I like the quotes. Yes, the quotes. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, at this time we will,
Thank you.
the chairperson will open the floor for comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Having said that, there's no one on my left. Is there anyone on my right who would like to come forward and make a comment? Okay, hearing none, we will go on. Public hearings are the next item on our agenda, and they are conducted to allow public comment on specific advertised issues such as rezoning, ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the City Commission. At this time, we will receive comments regarding a request for a variance from Article 1214.C.1, Emerging Corridor, building signs of the City of Griffin Unified Development Code to permit building signage in excess of the 6 square feet along Graff Street for Spalding Regional Hospital, Spalding Health. Taurus will address.
Madam Chairman, like the city, Spalding Regional Hospital has gotten a new logo, and they wish to place that new logo on their building. According to the rules and regulations of the Emerging Corridor, they're only allowed 6 square feet of signage, wall signage. That is beneficial for some of these smaller buildings, but for such a large building like this, it would render it ineffective. At this time, staff recommends denial of the request. However, there's no hardship regarding the request as stated in our Code of Ordinances.
So the denial recommendation is basically as you're required to follow.
That is correct.
The rules.
That is correct.
It's not in your heart, though.
That is correct. A similar approval by you all was done in November 13th of 2012 regarding the Emery building. They wish to erect a sign, a similar type sign not on their building, however, it was more of a freestanding sign, and you all approved that on that date.
All right, this is a public hearing, and if there's anyone who would like to come forward to speak for or against this item, you're invited now to do so. Hearing none, then we'll go into our consent agenda. Our consent agenda considers of approval of our minutes from the regular scheduled meeting on January the 22nd, 2013.
Madam Chair, I move we approve unless others have some corrections or additions.
That's good.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Are there any discussions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, Judy. Thank you. Okay, on our regular agenda, we include items on the regular agenda in which the Commission will individually consider and possibly take action. Consider a request for a variance from Article 1214.C.1, Emerging Corridor, building signs of the City of Griffin Unified Development Code to permit building signage in excess of the 6 square feet along Graff Street for Spalding Regional Hospital.
Madam Chair, I move we approve this variance, and I do have a comment.
All right.
Second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. Do you want to make your comment now?
Well, this 6 square feet is obviously not considering buildings of this magnitude, so maybe we had to revisit this very small signage for buildings this big.
Yes, and that will be the recommendation of staff as well.
Okay.
Okay, very good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, Judy. Thank you. Consider a request from the Griffin Main Street Program to update the Griffin Main Street Program Advisory Board Policy Manual. Taurus Freeman will address.
The Griffin Main Street Program Advisory Board met a couple of weeks ago, and part of their meeting with the new interim Main Street Manager, Vicki Hyatt, was to make some corrections to the current policy manual. As you see on your report, there are several sections that we want to amend, and one section we want to add. Part of the original manual was Section 4, the Advisory Board Membership, Downtown Council. We would like to amend that to state the Downtown Griffin Business Alliance, for they have changed their name. Also, Section 9 amendments regarding Policy 9.1, Working Partnerships, and 9.2, Temporary Partnerships. In addition to the policy, we would like to add Policy 10.1, which will have any future amendments to the policy.
Madam Chair, I think Commissioner Ward is our representative there.
Yes.
I'm looking at her.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the
All right, we have a
recommendation.
motion to approve. Do we have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, thank you. It is unanimous, Judy. All right, thank you. Item number 9, consider an agreement with Utility Service Partners Private Label Incorporated, DBA Service Line Warranties of America, to provide utility service line warranties to customers.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, as a utility in the 21st century, we're always looking to provide better service to our customers. About 3 years ago, this opportunity came, and I didn't feel like it was the appropriate time because there wasn't enough utilities across the United States that was being sponsored to the National League of Cities with this agency to provide what I call an insurance plan. So 3 years later, and 4 months ago, my deputy director asked me why we weren't doing this, Joe Johnson, and I reopened that door and that opportunity. And as you have to look at your customer just like Bill does in the electric department. What service can you provide people, and especially at this point in time where the system is getting older, there's a lot of older homes in this community. What this program does is basically an insurance program, and not to make this long and delayed, but the average bill that to a general customer in the city of Griffin that has to repair either a sewer or a water line is approximately $1,200 to $3,000, depending on what that particular need is. This program is an insurance program, basically asking for their support. We've had several, as you know, some of y'all have called me in the past about why is somebody doing this. We see our logo on there. We stopped it as soon as we could through the appropriate measures. This particular measure, we're asking that we provide this service to the customers at their expense and also at this utility services partners. One of the issues that we have out there basically is that we need to resolve some of these, I guess, unethical businesses from representing the city of Griffin, and this is one way of doing it. And basically, what happens is if you take water and sewer for 1 year and you take this program, you can take either or none, all right, and is basically what you see is a little more than $100. And what that $100 does, if you have a break, just to give you an idea, the payback, if you paid this plan for 23 years, and it is a month-to-month contract, it's not a long-term binding contract between the homeowner and this company, would take 23 years. If that break was $3,000, and we see a lot of those because we get the broken pipe policy or the sewer policy, if that particular leak or blocked sewer line caused the customer a bill of $3,000, it would take 58 years to pay back on this particular insurance policy. So the payout is rather good. I guess I'll open the floor for questions, but what we're trying to do is provide a service to the community, especially with these older homes, to take advantage of very low policy. It covers up to $4,000 a year, and the number of breaks or problems with the sewer line, it is per incident. And it also compensates the city of Griffin if they have to tear up our streets or our sidewalks, up to $500 on sidewalks and $4,000 if they have to compromise the road in order to fix the tap and the sewer line. And the other added benefit is that we would, the penetration of this historically is what we've seen is anywhere from 20 to 37% of the customers after about a 10-year period of time actually take the policy. What does that mean to the city of Griffin? At the end of each calendar year, we will get 10% of the total sales to our utility of the warranties that are sold.
How will we advertise this?
They will advertise it. They will send out flyers. We will endorse it with our logo. That's what they're asking to do, and we will put it on the website. We will put on an RSSR feed. our standard procedure, and basically any other financial cost of advertising will be at the cost of the utility service provider, not us.
I know we even got a letter from one of these companies this week.
I got one in my house also.
Yeah, so they are flooding and we have had questions from people that live in the city about it. In fact, they almost got frightened.
And I think this will resolve the issue of some of the problems that y'all seen, and it seems to be cyclic. Every 15 months, somebody's out there trying to market a service. This doesn't say somebody else can't come in and provide the same service. All we're doing is endorsing a program that's legitimate through the National League of Cities.
Okay.
I guess my only concern about this is if break happens and the homeowner gets into a contentious position with the insurance company, or more likely the contractor that shows up, and the city's sort of in the middle of this, what's a sort of a private dispute.
It's no different than we are now. I mean, we constantly fight that battle between the contractor. Oh, another bonus too also is this company is the first thing they do is they find local businesses in the city of Griffin to partner with them to do it. They don't bring outside vendors in unless local plumbers, certified plumbers, want to.
Your price on this, I mean, we've replaced water lines and things, and normally it ranges depending on the distance and the length from the meter to the house.
Yes, sir.
Depending on the age of the structure, whether it's on a slab versus on a crawl space.
Right.
So I'd hate to see a company coming in like this, partnering with the private sector and basically eventually jacking the price up on them.
This company doesn't set the price, the contractor does.
The contractor does, but if they're going to guarantee this amount of money, those that don't provide this policy are subject to the rates that are now being established based on this insurance policy.
The free enterprise will take its place in the marketplace. The people with the lowest prices will prevail.
Can we do this, Drew?
Well, I'd like for us to have a workshop.
I sent Kenny an email this morning and asked that he distribute it to y'all, and hope you would consider it. I don't know there's a strong legal objection to it. I think there are a couple of things that still really need to be answered. Number one, it does say it's an insurance company. It says it's based in Pennsylvania. That's in the NLC literature. It's in your agenda. However, I don't see where they've registered to operate in the state of Georgia. I got on the Georgia Department of Revenue, Department of Insurance website, and I can't find Utility Service Partners or what's the name of this thing? Utility Service Partners Private Label Inc. DBA Utility Service Partners. None of those gave me a hit from that standpoint.
So this basically any insurance operation in Georgia has to be registered in Georgia.
They have to be registered, and they have to show proof of financial responsibility, basically. I mean, you can't go out and market policies in exchange for a premium if you don't have the capital reserves to pay the claims when the claims come in. And that's
my question. I know that's true of health and life and those sorts of things.
This is property and casualty as well.
Same thing. Okay.
Yeah. The other thing is this non-exclusive license that they ask you to approve and grant to them to use your logo. Basically, under Georgia law, you can't give an exclusive license. And any license you do grant is non-exclusive, and the reason for that is when the next person comes along and wants the same rights, you have to treat everybody equally. So you could have, in theory, 3, 5, 7, 12 other companies coming to the city and saying, approve me a non-exclusive license to market my business under your logo. And what they're asking you for here is for the chairperson to sign a letter on city letterhead, which you give to them. They're going to reproduce it and mail it out to your utility customers. They also want you to put it on your website if you had one. So, they are using basically the good reputation of the city of Griffin as a means to market their services. Now, I realize that these people are endorsed by NLC, but I don't know of anyone else other than the advertising propaganda they sent Brant as to where else they're doing business, if they're doing other cities in Georgia or other
Atlanta
counties in
has
Georgia,
it, and
what?
there's 6 other cities in the state of Georgia.
Well, I would like to see us look into this a little bit more.
I'd like to make a motion to table this to a workshop in the future.
I need Drew to supply to me what he wants so that I can take this to those individuals and try to resolve this.
All right, we have a motion to table this and a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of...
You're just tabling it? Indefinitely until we can discuss this at a workshop.
Can we table indefinitely till a workshop? Okay, all those in favor then raise your right hand. All right, it is unanimous, Judy. Okay, thank you, and thank you, Brent. And I've been one of the ones that has bent his ear because some of the elderly people have called and brought the literature and wondered if, what I do with this, is there a possibility? And so I reassured them that we may come up with something. So we'll have a workshop.
One other comment for those of you who were on the board at the time. The city of Griffin was asked by MEAG several years ago when they deregulated natural gas marketing in Georgia. For those of us who had electric utilities to also sell natural gas, and we went into that business with a MEAG endorsed supplier who, about a year into the program, went bankrupt and left the city holding a fairly large financial loss as well as a lot of disgruntled customers. So
I've heard about that, but I never knew the background.
I felt like on that deal, and
yeah,
this is sort of reminiscent of that.
Okay, well, we'll schedule this for a workshop, and thank you, Dr. Keller. Item number 10 is to consider purchase a 303C CR Mini hydraulic excavator from Yancey Brothers in the amount of $34,000 for the Wastewater Collections Division of Public Works and Utilities Department.
I move we approve this purchase. I do have a question.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second.
Second.
Okay. All righty, question.
Last time we bought a piece of equipment and Yancey didn't win, they were quite perturbed, so they said we bought an inferior piece of equipment to theirs. So this time I assume they're pleased.
Happy.
They won this one. I'm sorry, I'm a little sarcastic.
Yeah, they're pleased, obviously. Anytime they can make a sale.
That doesn't surprise us either, Dick. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you.
We won't get a call from Yancey this time, like that.
All right, item number 11, to consider memorandum of agreement with the Atlanta Regional Commission for cooperative purchase of aerial imagery in the amount of $28,000 for the City of Griffin and the Public Works and Utilities Department. By the way, that was $6,000 under the budget to the
Well, I have
amount of
better news
$40,000.
for you. Unofficially, as of 5:09 this afternoon, got an email from Spalding County. They're willing to participate in 50% of the cost of the aerials for their use for their offices.
This has to do with Circus Soleil, doesn't it?
I think so. Okay, are you ready to address this for us, Dr. Keller?
We every 3 to 5 years we have to we don't keep our GIS system and our aerials up to par because of development, lack of development, demolition of houses or what have you. And each time it gets lower because of technology. And basically this is a service item I consider that we deal with. Very fortunate that the ARC keeps inviting us to allow to participate in the cost. The first time we did aerials in the city of Griffin was $208,000. The second time was $125,000. Last time I believe it was $40,000. This time it's even less. So
now, is this what the county's going to participate with?
Yes, ma'am. They're going to pay 50% of the bill.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
To participate with Spalding.
Well, that's unofficial until I
allow Spalding County to participate with us if they
so desire. Yes.
Did you get all that, Judy? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. All right, item number 12. Okay. Consider approval to amend the general fund operating and capital budget for fiscal year 2013 in the amount of $99,462 for roof repairs at Fire Station number 3.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the budget amendment as stated.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, Judy. Thank you. Okay, City Manager, do you have a report?
Well, just quickly, obviously, we didn't open the bridge today, but we rescheduled for Thursday, weather permitting, at 4 o'clock.
If it rains, let's open it.
Yes, sir.
Right. We need to get that thing going.
Yes, sir.
Take our pictures.
EMA
Close
conference
them on the bridge.
information for the summer conference, if you'll get that, get with Judy on that the next few days. Also, don't forget to get with Taurus on your comp plan advisory board. That first meeting is scheduled for Friday at noon at Three Rivers. So if you're interested, you can participate, and certainly we need people from your district to put input into that. And Safe House Coffee will open up
Friday morning,
ribbon cutting at 11:30.
Fantastic.
Glad to have them back open.
Right. Will we get that thing removed from in front of them before Friday? Have they requested the dumpster to be removed?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Good. Drew?
I have nothing.
Okay, Shahir? I ain't gonna even attempt. Dick?
For those you might not know, the county commission approved our non-essential property request for the airport. They approved, and it's moving forward. We're working on the presentation and a request to the FAA GDOT.
Okay, thank you. Doug?
Thank you for getting the clock fixed.
Yes, please say the clock's fixed, Ray.
3/4 of it. One side of it's still not
It's still a
working.
C, you're good.
One side of it is what?
75%.
Three of the 4 sides are working. One side, the side facing the old corner cafe is still not working.
The old corner cafe, okay. But most people go down Hill Street or come up Hill Street. Those two are working.
That's wishful thinking.
Besides Drew, I looked at the clock in.
Okay. Ryan?
I want to thank Ray for all the press that we've gotten on the Union Cemetery. I think that's really helped a lot, getting a lot of people out there because of the attention that the press has given to it. So I just want to thank you.
And didn't you hear find one of his relatives out there?
Yeah.
Didn't you hear find one of his relatives is out there?
2 of them.
2 of them. Wow. And for those of you who don't know where it is, it's on the corner. It's on Grandview, right as you come off of East College, and it's on the right. Cora.
No comment.
Cynthia.
Okay.
And I don't have anything either. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.